This review is of Logitech's G432 stereo headset. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. Alright, there we go. Pretty good. Okay, so there's a lot of small writing right there. I'm not going to show you that, but I will show you the technical specifications here. Hold on. Hopefully you can read that. Okay, so, but basically, when I buy a headset, unless it's for my kids who don't need anything special sometimes for like school, then I'll buy a cheapo one. But if I want to buy a good one for like listening to music or gaming, I'm always going to look for certain things. Like it's got to have Dolby or something like that for the sound quality. It also has to have drivers. Now this one has 50mm drivers. And then I compare the frequency response, the impedance, the active ohms, the sensitivity, and so on and so forth with other brands to find one that has a wider range. Frequency response is another thing. So I don't always necessarily understand these things, but I do try to compare just to see what the differences are. Now this one has right in the back here, behind the left cup, is the volume control dial, and also let me show you. So you can see that right there. All right, and with this model, when you want to, oops, you can't even see anything, can you? Because I'm not holding it right. So I'm gonna hold it like this so you can actually see me. I'm gonna go like this because that's what I do. All right, so this is the microphone, obviously, and it is chordoid, which means unidirectional. I don't know if that has any voice activation or not, but it does slide up. Now, when it gets to a certain point as it's going up, it turns off the microphone. So that's how you turn your microphone on and off with this one, as opposed to my previous one, this one here, which I gave to my son because I was having a little bit of problems with the controller box for the stereo sound. But I mean, it's a nice set, but the stereo sound, the stereo box does not work right. This one, the controller is, the button, or I should say, is on the cup right there, right there. Anyways, personally, I have pros and cons about both. Like for example, one of the things I prefer about this one is it's out of my way when I need it out of my way. Whereas with the flexible microphone like this, I can't ever get it out of my way very easily. I mean, it's there, but it's kind of awkward sometimes to get it in the right position so it's not bothering me. With this one, disadvantages, because it's not a flexible material, I can't bring the microphone closer to my mouth. So hopefully the condenser mic in this is always going to be sufficient to pick up the sound from my face easily. Let's see. Now, as with any cup headset that fits over the ears and covers them, there's always the problem with, for some people, that the cup is going to be too shallow. There we go. The cup is going to be too shallow, and as a result, they're going to be hitting this fabric here. There really isn't much of any cushioning underneath that fabric, if any. I would say there's maybe another layer, possibly, maybe not. However, let's see if I can find my, there it is. Let's see if I can tell you approximately the depth of this. This is about 3/4 of an inch deep. I'll show you so you can see for yourself. Maybe. Maybe you can see, and maybe it's just not going to be possible to show you. Yeah, there we go. Compare that to my old set, which is going to be about half an inch. So these are actually deeper. Now, in the summertime, if you're not running AC, and I don't run AC virtually all the time, I just use fans. It saves on electricity, helps the environment, and so on and so forth. But if you're not running an AC, you're going to find your ears are going to get kind of sweaty while you're wearing these over your ears. Another thing is this both a pro and a con of this is that the cups, because they cover your ears so well, you often will not hear things that are going on around you. So if somebody stops by to visit you, you're not going to hear it. If you're using your phone and you don't have it set where you can see it and there's not a light that blinks to let you know that there's a call or something coming in, you may miss a phone call. You may have a timer set not on your computer, but on your phone or something else, or your microwave or your oven, and you may not hear it because it's covered. On the flip side, it's nice to have these covering your ears, because that way you get a much fuller sense of the sounds that you're hearing. You don't have to turn up the volume as much to hear what you need to hear. And with all the drivers that are in there, and I don't remember how many there are. Let me see. Let's see if it says anything. So so I look for 7.1 surround and nah, it doesn't say. Not that I see, anyways. Yeah. Anyways, another nice thing about this headset is the ear cup swivel, so they can adjust to between this and this, they can adjust to the size and shape and positioning of your ears and all that sort of stuff. So it gives more space for ears. It also, I find that sometimes I have to just kind of move it around ever so slightly to get it in the optimal position so that it isn't bothering my ears. Now, if you've got like those ear inserts to make a big loop of your earlobe or something like that, obviously you're going to have a different situation than the average person. And I don't wear earrings, so I can't speak as to how the earrings are going to be a problem. These run on a slider independently of each other, so you can end up, if you're OCD, you're going to be looking at yourself in the camera, and you're going to be like, oh, it's off kilter, I've got to adjust it. You may spend all day long, whereas with this kind, it's always going to be balanced on your head, but the disadvantage of this one is if you tap that, you can hear the vibrations going down just like a tuning fork, and also this band inevitably slowly pulls the earphones up off of your ears a bit. Let's see what else. Oh, these are obviously not made of fake materials, not real leather or anything like that. You can see, not sure exactly what happened, but probably my chair rubbed against it or something like that. It's already been damaged. I've only had these I don't know, less than a year. Yeah, and this is actually my second set. My first set, my daughter accidentally destroyed when she was vacuuming. I still love you, honey. Let's see what else. I don't care about the color scheme. I mean, I'm not going to see them while they're on my head unless I'm looking in the camera, and I'm not that egotistical or narcissistic that I want to do that. So it doesn't matter to me that there are no lights on here. I think it's kind of stupid to have LED lights on here, unless you're in a really dark room and you need to see where your headset is, and that, that's the only excuse that I can think of. Otherwise, I think it's just kind of silly to have LEDs on your headset. Like this headset has LEDs right in here, and I just turn them off because I don't need to waste the electricity, and I don't need red lights on my head. I just think it's it's flash and no function. Let's see what else. Oh, and there is some cushioning up here so that you don't feel like you don't feel the hard plastic that this is made of. Is there anything else that I can think of? No. It did come with, what else? What did it come with? I forgot. I know it came with an adapter of some kind or other. I don't remember what the adapter was, but I believe it came with a splitter or something like that. Anyways, so it's a pretty good set. When I use it for gaming, I can hear. Oh yeah. So yeah, you can use this on Wi-Fi with the adapter that it came with. You can also use it on RCA jack. See right there. But when I use it for music or when I use it for gaming, the sound is great. When I'm in a game where there, you have potentially enemies or whatever coming from all directions, I can hear that. Although there are going to be certain positions where, just like in real life, because the balance is exact between the left and the right ear, I can't tell if it's forward or behind me, and I have to not my head, I have to turn my character in the game to figure out where that sound is coming from. But that's normal. Gosh, I think that's about it. I haven't really had any problems with it. The only thing that I wish was better about it is I wish that this connector was better protected. But I have it set up so that I sometimes do this, I have my earphones set up so that if I ever pull away too far, get up and walk away forgetting to take this off, I have it set around this post here so that it pulls this way and pulls it out this way instead of pulling it this way, which would shear it and damage it. And that does a lot to help protect the integrity of that. I guess that's really pretty much it. I'm pretty satisfied with this. I would eventually probably want to try a different headset that maybe is superior to this, but at this point in time, I'm satisfied with this one. And although there are things about this headset that I really did like, ultimately it is not as good as this headset. And in addition to that fact, it does have the faulty 7.1 surround controller box that is... it just had a couple of problems involving the microphone not working.
Alright, so I wanted to add to this video. I know this is a video from a few years ago, but I wanted to improve upon it. So I've been testing earphones lately, and the first thing I did was to test fidelity, and I used the HiHacker Ultimate Headphone Test for that, and I used the first 4 parts of it. The bass test from 200 to 10 hertz, it did pretty good, but it didn't have the range of some of the other headphones, but it did good enough. It got down to 33 hertz before it pooped out. And then on the treble test from 8,000 to 14,900, and then it's paused, which a lot of them pause or stop at 14,900. Well, actually, all of them pause or stop there. But it picked up again at 16,000 all the way to 20,000 megahertz. The driver bass quality test, which is you put it at maximum volume and you listen for distortion, buzz, that kind of thing to see if the drivers are not mounted correctly or they're not good quality. It passed that test. The driver balance, you listen to the sound from the bottom all the way to the top and then back down again. And what you want to hear is that the sound is always dead center. And this pair did pretty good, except for when it got into the high range. It started to do some shifting, which is more of a slow move to the left or the right. So it could have been better, but it was pretty good overall. Then I did 3 different directional tests. I used the Lion Studios test, 3D high definition, Dolby Presents Universe, and THX Spatial. Hear the difference. It passed all 3 of those tests. So overall, it did pretty good. Could be a little bit better, but it did pretty good. It's not a heavy-duty headset. I still use them, but the casing is not exactly something that is very durable. And that just happened from me accidentally catching the headphones. They were against something, and I turned my chair, and that ripped like that. But they're still working otherwise. They still work just fine, except for a little bit of damage to the cord from when my son used them, because he's pretty careless with headphones. And back to you, Past Glenn.
Well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.
Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand, and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there, and or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.